Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Stew and the Crew. I'm your host, Jonathan Stewart, and we have a special guest. Very, you might become a normal to the cast since this is your second time
Oh yeah.
on the podcast, bro. Seventh round pick, the 2009 draft, South Carolina's finest. As far as what you call yourselves the Gamecocks down there. Um,
Come on, Stu.
but Carolina's finest, Captain Munnerlyn, 10-year NFL career, uh, well established, not just on the field but off the field, doing amazing things in the community, uplifting kids, mentoring, uh, and now a head coach, man, a head coach.
Yeah, man.
But
Yeah,
look,
wow.
man, good to see you, bro. Hey, look, the older I get and the further away I get from this game, the
Mhm.
more excited I am to see my guys, man, to see the guys that I
Yeah.
blood, sweat, and tears with, and just being able to, just share the platform and give people some encouragement, some inspiration, whatever it is. It's just always a good time. So I just want to let you know I don't take this time for granted, and the listeners and the viewers, they don't take it for granted either. So welcome to the cast, man. How you been?
Man, I appreciate it. I've been good, man. Appreciate you for having me, Stu. That was a good intro, bro.
Yeah,
I really appreciate that, man. Just for having me on, man. Like you said, I don't take it for granted also, man.
yeah,
To have an opportunity to talk to one of your former teammates and, a guy who you really been, to war with, man, is
yeah.
always a blessing, man. So thanks for having me, bro.
Oh man, you already know, bro. Let's get to it, man. Look, you was back in Panther Stadium on a very sluggish day, but needless to say,
Yeah,
you was back in
yeah,
the building,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
You got a
It was
chance
hard. It
to.
was hard, Stu. It was hard that day. It
It was hard. It was hard. You
was
played for the
hard, bro.
Bills too. Did you have any mixed
It was
feelings?
hard.
Was there any mixed feelings on that day?
No, not really, cause my not really, because my home is already Carolina. It's always going to be
Mm,
Carolina. This is a team that drafted me. This is a team that gave me the opportunity, to go pro. So, no, I didn't have no mixed feelings at all. I seen Coach McDermott and all those guys who coached me here, even Bobby Babbage, the DC, from Buffalo. I seen those guys, and I did my Bill Watts Coaching University last year in Buffalo. So, I
oh
was on their
yeah.
coaching staff for the whole, training camp and stuff. So
Oh, so
I
yeah,
didn't have no mixed
you
feelings.
yeah, you know him as a professional. That's it. You don't know
Yeah,
him as
so I know
family.
them. So, but at the end of the day, hey, at the end of the day, it's always keep pounding, dog. It's always keep
Oh yeah.
pounding.
We love to hear that. So you was the legend of the game. Ladies and gentlemen, he was a legend of the game. And bro, I read something and it stuck out to me. Um, you know, you when you got an opportunity to hit the drum as a legend, it made you feel like
Mhm.
you did things the right way. Explain
Yeah.
what that really means to the listeners out there, coming from a professional, coming from a legend, a Carolina legend. What does it mean to do things the right way?
Oh man. Like when I got that call, man, Stu, I was still in shock. Like, man, they wanted me, to be the legend of the game. They could have chose a lot of people, tons of people over me. But like I said, man, the term of doing things the right way, just being a pro, especially in the community. I was a guy who always, went to the bars and girls clubs. Went to high school when it was time to make an appearance. Went to the hospital when they needed, guys to go to the hospital and sign autographs out to practice. I always been one of the last guys there. Um, so that's what I mean when I say I did the things the right way, because my mom always used to tell me, man, one day somebody ain't gonna want that autograph.
Oh yeah,
One day somebody ain't gonna want to see Captain Munnerlyn. So I always made myself available, for the fans and for the people. So that's always stuck with me, as when my mom always told me that. So that stuck with me. So that's when I say did things the right way. I always made myself available for the fans and for the people in Carolina.
man, that's what's up, man. A lot of people need to hear that, especially the guys now, you're playing right now. You got to make sure you cultivate those relationships,
Yeah.
cultivate the community. Because Carolina, man, it's a blessing to be drafted
Yes.
here, and
Yes.
to be picked up here, because it's one of the best places to live in general.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So we hit the jackpot when we got drafted here.
Yeah.
Um, all right, so the drum, keep pounding, symbolic, right?
Yeah. Yes, man.
It speaks of resilience. It speaks of the culture of this team, and how they need to operate. How do you carry that symbol into your current life right now, post retirement, and how did you carry it obviously while you played, but give us from playing to retirement and how that
Okay.
left a lasting impression on you.
Man, that statement, man, keep pounding. That slogan is keep pounding. When I played, man, no matter what was going on in the game, how you felt or how any if things weren't going your way, you always just kept pounding, man. Keep chucking away. And that's how I did on the field. No matter what, man. I didn't make every play. I wish I would
Hmm.
have, but I didn't make every play. And I always put myself in a position that, man, hey man, make the next one. Keep pounding. You never know when your number's going to be called again. So I put that into perspective in my life and also while I played football. So I always kept pounding, man. And post retirement, Stu, man, life is hard when you're done. Life is
Life be
hard when you're
life.
done. Life be life, man. You don't have the same schedule that you had when you was playing football. We don't have those 6:30 meetings. We don't have those 7:30 meetings. We don't have that that structure that you have when you're playing football. So life be life, and like you said, man. So I always try to tell myself, no matter what's going on in the world, what's going on around you, what's going on, even playing football, you always got to keep pounding.
Yeah,
You always got
that's
to keep
awesome.
pounding, man. So that's how I always do. And I tell the kids over here, at Chambers, me and being coach, you hear the bell now.
Yeah, that boy, a coach for
Yeah,
real.
yeah, man. I'm a coach for real. But I
Hey,
always tell them,
what does that bell mean? What period it is?
oh, they going to lunch, Stu.
Oh, they going to lunch,
They
early
going to
lunch.
lunch right now. But
Okay.
I always tell the guys, man, I always keep pounding, man. I always through life, man, because it'll be some kids around here going through real life situations.
Yeah.
I hear some stories too that I'd be like, wow, want me to break down and cry and get under my desk and just be like, man,
Yeah.
how's these kids are, keeping themselves together,
Right.
and I always tell them in the slogan, I always come, hey man, no matter what's going on in the world, no matter what's going on around you, keep pounding.
Oh,
Know that things, know
that's so
things,
awesome, bro.
man, know that things can get better. Things will
Yeah.
get better.
Yeah. It's
If you
awesome
just,
that you hold on. It's awesome that you able to play for the Carolina Panthers and pick up a slogan, right?
yes,
And for a lot of people that aren't, Carolina Panther fans that might hear this, keep pounding comes from Sam Mills, Panther great,
yep,
that lived
yep,
his life exactly how that slogan goes, right? And for you to be able to be this, in my opinion, bro, like you gone to South Carolina and then getting drafted by the Carolina Panthers, that's probably a lot of kids' dream,
yes,
right?
man,
that's
yes,
a that's a dream come true. And for you to have the prestige that you have, right, as a Carolina Panther legend,
yep.
NFL vet, and now coaching, at Chambers High School, do you think these kids realize what they're getting and how special this is?
Oh, Stu, as I look back on it, and as you just said that, I don't think they do.
Yeah,
They look at me as Coach Cap. Coach
that's
Cap.
awesome though.
Yeah, and some of these kids around here, they know about my playing career. I'm at that cusp of age right now where kids they was younger. They was in middle school, they was in elementary school, so they know about the Jonathan Stewarts, the Captain Munnerlyn, and all these other guys. So they know about us. So, but
Yeah.
as they little brothers are growing up and as the other people coming from middle school, they don't know me. They don't know me. So it's definitely different. But at the same time, man, I'm just blessed to be in this situation, Stu. I'm
Yeah.
just being honest, man. These kids don't know how much they done blessed me. As I'm their head football coach, they look at me, man, Coach Cap, man. Coach Cap played in the NFL. You know, Coach Cap is a legend. But I look at it as something different, man. I look at these kids are blessing me. I got the opportunity to bless some kids and coach some great kids and help them get to a goal that coaches helped me get to. So
Yeah.
that's what I loved in this situation. You know, I get an opportunity to pour into these kids each and every day and let them know, hey man, you know, hey, look, Coach Cap love you, man. You know, Coach Cap
Right.
want to just help you get out your situation. If some of y'all are going through things, I'm here for y'all guys. And I want to help these guys get to the next level, man.
That's what it's about. Me and Cap earlier this year, we were able to talk on the sideline. What was it? Where was that at?
Oh, it was a Panther Fan Fest.
Panther, yeah,
Yep.
FanFest. And it's interesting, man, because I find myself learning way more football now that I'm outside of football playing
Yes,
and
yes,
and and
yes,
and
Stu.
and having to articulate, having to explain, having to coach because I'm coaching obviously with
Yeah,
Greg and
yeah,
Luke at
yeah, yeah,
Charlotte
man.
Christian for middle school, and and now I'm like way more curious about the
Yes.
game, right? So I'm on
Yeah.
the sideline, I'm talking to Cap, I forgot who else was
Mr.
right
Leonard,
there.
Leonard,
Oh yeah,
Leonard.
Leonard Wheeler.
Yep.
And we sitting there talking. I'm like, man, let me ask these guys because they DBs. I'm over
Yep.
here coaching DBs and ain't played a lick of DB besides when I was in middle school, right? In
Yep.
high school, I played safety, but I was really like a linebacker just in
Yep.
the box. But as far as like technique and all these types of things, it's just awesome to now be removed from football, but still in football, being able to have opportunities to be around your guys and have guys like I look at you as gold. I'm like, well, if I don't have the answers, I know a lot of guys that do,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And and that's the mindset I think a lot of these the young kids should have.
Yeah.
This is gold.
Yeah.
Captain Munnerlyn is my head coach. If I want to get anywhere in life as far as football goes, I have the key right here.
Yeah.
So all I
Yeah.
gotta do is just twist the knob and it unlocks the door.
Yeah.
I'll take that every day, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
But it's awesome too, though. The fact that they do look at you like coach. They do
Yeah.
look at me like coach, and the respect there, right? Because there's some kids out there that try you, right? That
Yeah. Yeah.
don't know you as coach, right? Because
Hmm.
the social media it blends us so much together to where it feels too accessible, right? It
Yep.
feels like I'm entitled to your space. I'm entitled to call you however I want to call you. Um, I'll take it back to my rookie year. I won't say who this is, who this person is, but we went to a football game, high school football game, right? And this
Uh-huh.
young kid comes up to us and they was like, yo, so and gave their first name, right?
Yep.
Like first name presence. And this is a high schooler. And it was like, hold on. You got to put Mr. before you come
Yeah.
to me, right?
Yeah.
And I think, that's what's awesome about coaching football is because you do get an opportunity to teach these kids how to respect your elders, how to respect your parents, what it's like to be what should you do to be a good son first, right?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
should you do to be a good brother first,
Yep.
right? A good friend, a good teammate. What does it mean to show up and be consistent, right? Because those are the things that you teach in life, right?
Yep.
Because it's
Yep.
football is not for long, and it's not for long for a lot of these young kids. So I find myself really, coaching the guys that have heart, right? They love being there, right? And I love investing into those kids because those kids, as you know, the teams that are successful are the teams that have that glue, right? And the kids that just love being there, that are respectful, that are just team players. Oh, I just eat that up, bro.
Man, what you say, Stu? That's the most best. That's the best part of this. You know,
Mm-hmm.
when you can have that glue and have those kids that soak everything up, and it's just like that sponge.
Mm-hmm.
Man, Stu, I love coaching those guys. I
Yeah,
love coaching
man.
those guys. You know, instead of having those guys think they know it all already and things like that, the guys that come in every day, work their tails off, and they want to soak everything in. I love those guys, man. They can play for me any day. They can
Yeah.
play for me any day.
So Chambers didn't make the playoffs last year. This is your first year coaching.
Yeah,
What is
man.
the secret sauce? What's the secret sauce? Y'all going to the playoffs?
Man, we're going to the playoffs, man. Going to the playoffs. I think the secret sauce is these kids buying in. No, I had to come
Mm,
in, Stu. This year has been a trying year for me coaching. I had to come in and put down my law. I had to suspend a couple guys who was my guys, like some
mm,
guys on the teams. There were some good guys. Suspending one of my best players the first 2 weeks of the season.
mm.
And everybody looked at me like he can't. We can't win without him. Stu, we
That boy
want.
went coach. That boy went Coach Carter on him.
Yes, and we went 2-0 without him.
Yeah.
So everybody like not all the other kids respected him more. They start
Mhm.
buying in. Still, we 6 games in, and I had to spend 5 starters because of what they did on the bus. So I suspended 5 starters, and we go in the next week. I'm sitting there, and my AD tell me, "Hey, Coach Cap, you need to win this game to win, to make the playoffs." And I'm sitting there like, okay. He was like, she suspended 5 guys. He's like, all I'm saying, if you win this game, you're in the playoffs. So you might want to think about it. And I'm sitting there like, all right, I got you. But he said, I'm around with you, whatever you do. He
Mhm.
rolled with me, whatever I do. I suspended those guys, still, we still won the game.
Hey,
So now
hey.
now the team looking at me like, yo, Coach Cap is not playing. Coach Cap is doing it his way. And the young men that I suspended, they came back. They respected me more. And they're like, Coach, I understand why you did X, Y, and Z. And one of the kids, man, came in my office, broke down and crying, like, Coach, this is gonna help me be a better young man. And I was sitting
Mhm.
there like, wow.
Yeah.
And then senior night rolled around, and one of the kids' quotes was they asked him what his favorite moment of his senior year. And he said this, dude. He was like, being able to be coached by Coach Captain Munnerlyn. And it was
Mm,
like, wow. And
yeah.
this was a kid that I just suspended, Stu. And it was sitting there like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, man, being able to be coached by Captain Munnerlyn, Coach Cap has really made me a better person. And I'm sitting there like, wow, my job is, it's been done over here, man. Job is still not done. We're in the playoffs, and I still got a whole bunch of, coaching experience like that I want to experience before I, take the next step. Uh,
Mhm.
but just being over here, man, with these kids, they bought in like a sponge. Like I told you, man, you want those kids like a sponge, and they're like a sponge over here. And to get these kids to the playoffs was my goal. My goal.
Yeah.
Everybody say, "What's your goal in year one?" Everybody say the cliche answer. You want to win the state championship. Yeah, you do. Everybody
Yeah.
does. But my goal was change this program, get it to back what it's known for, and do it my way and make a playoff run. That's what I said. I
Yeah.
wanted to make the playoffs in my first year and make a run at it. So that was my goal. But my first goal was to change the culture over here. How these kids think, how everybody view these kids. You hear Chambers, some people here and they be like, oh man, oh man, they have this and XYZ going on. No, these are some great kids over here. They just need some foundation. They need some structure. They need some guys like me and yourself, Stu, to just be like, hey man, this how you gonna do it, this how you get there, and this is what we're gonna do. And they're gonna follow your lead. And I think that's what's really helped us over here, Stu. They followed my lead and it got us into the playoffs. Now we playing on Friday and we got an opportunity to play in a playoff game and win a game.
Yeah. That reminds me of this verse, bro. Bible verse, Isaiah 6:8. And it talks, he's saying, whom shall I send? Right? And who
Yeah.
will go for us? And Isaiah replies, send me, I'll go. That's what you remind me of right now because
Wow.
a lot of people, don't want to take the underwhelming jobs, right?
Yes.
They don't
Yes.
want to, in quote unquote, you know, do the dirty work. But we both know that if you do the dirty work and it ends up getting cleaned up a little bit, shine it a little bit, you might have some gold.
Yes,
You know
man.
what I'm saying?
Yes.
And
Yes.
and I just think, man, the more people have that mindset, the better off, the legacy becomes, right?
Yeah.
Pouring into the kids that need, pouring, right? Father the fatherless, father, and feed those that need food, give those that need water, and a plant can't grow without water
Yes.
or sun or shade. You got to be all of those things, right?
Yes,
And
sir.
it does come with a price and a sacrifice, right?
Yes,
And so
sir.
I just want to say I commend you for taking a job that, I'm pretty sure you going into it, you were like, man, you know,
Yeah.
this is my first head coaching job, my first head coaching experience. I don't know what, is ahead of me, but I'm gonna trust God and put Him first, and let these kids be everything. You
Yep.
know, if you put it like that, man, the sky's the limit for anything, right?
Yes, sir.
And I
Yes,
just
sir.
and I also want to tie this back to the Panthers, right? Because you talked about culture and 1 year in and being able to like literally give a whole different perspective for these kids, these parents, the school, the staff there, and your energy. I'm pretty sure it's just a breath of fresh air for everybody. But you look at Dave Canales, right?
Yep.
And you see what he's been able to accomplish. I look back at last year when he benched Bryce Young. That was a heavy decision.
Yes, it was, man. Hey, that was tough decision.
Tough decisions.
Yeah.
So I think building culture is all about making tough decisions.
Facts.
And
That's
and
it, Stu.
even for the kid to decide, okay, I got benched. How am I gonna respond? Right? I have a decision to make. I can
Yep.
go in the tank or I can humble myself, right? you know, and I look at guys like Bryce Young and how he was able to just go through, his career so far in the NFL with so much humility and so much grace, and being able to have Dave Canales, that perfect pairing of a guy that can, challenge his guys
Yep.
and stay true to his word. You look at Chuba Hubbard, like the last couple of weeks and all the stuff that everyone wants to make up, make this whole hoopla of a situation, making it more than what it is. But Dave Canales said, "Hey, you were the starter, so you
Yep.
were hurt. You come back, and I'll give you an opportunity to still be
Opportunity
the starter
to get your
and,
job. Yep.
and to do your job." And I respect that. And as a player, as a guy in that locker room, we're watching and we're saying, "Okay, I respect that."
Hmm.
Right. And then eventually, okay, we took an assessment, and Rico Dowdle is the head guy,
Yeah,
right?
he's our guy. But I gave you an opportunity to get your job back and show us that you still, the guy. But
Yeah,
it didn't work out like that. Rico is just having a better season. And that
yeah,
happens. That
yeah.
happens.
The hot hand, right?
You gotta go down
And
here. Yep.
at every point in a guy's career, they've experienced that.
Oh
Whether
yeah.
whether they've
Oh yeah.
been whether they gotten their spot taken or whether
Yeah.
they were taking another guy's spot.
Yep.
And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're done with. It just means that you just have to support the hot hand, because
Yep.
the hot hand, if it's cooking, the hot hand will cook
Let it
and
cook.
eat, and you will eat. The whole
Yep.
team will eat. Everybody eats, right?
And then
What
your
mo?
number, Stu, not to cut you off, but your number will be called back
Oh yeah,
again.
it's gonna be called. So be
Yeah, so
ready.
you need to be ready.
Yep.
You
You
can't go
gotta.
into the tank. You can't go in the tank, get all down, like, man, forget this and that. So when your number is called again, you got to be ready. If you're not ready, that's when the problem is.
Yeah, that's where the problem is, and I don't think we have that problem here in
Nah,
Carolina Panthers,
nah.
because the cadence of this team, how they're moving, how they're shaking, it seems all too familiar,
Yes,
right? We've
yes,
seen success be developed, and that's the reason why obviously we're Panther fans, like we
yep,
played for the Panthers, but I'm like real life fan.
yeah.
I'm real.
Listen, I say that all the time on my podcast, Stu. And like people be like, oh yeah, you this. I'm like, listen, I was the player, yes, but I'm a real fan now.
Yeah.
Like I want us to win, like every single game. And they was like, "Oh yeah, but you said this and this and that." Yeah, I said it. I know what I said, but I'm a fan,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
His
like I
hey,
get
and
it.
by the way, ladies and gentlemen, he has a podcast. No capping with Cap. And
Yes,
basically,
sir.
what he gonna do is tell you the absolute truth, and the truth is gonna set you free sometimes, but it also lock you up. But going back to that adjustment for a guy's career, right? And where, you know, it'll be a hot hand, and then you'll have a cold hand, and you'll be a hot hand, right? There's
Yep.
been times for you that I've seen in your career where you've taken leaps, right? And
Yep.
then there's been times where a coach challenges you and says, "Hey, look, he's gonna play because right now you're not playing that good, right?"
Yep.
And that
Yep.
happens to all of us. And if you respond the right way, that's what really shapes you as being a pro.
Yes.
You know
Yes,
what
Stu.
I'm saying?
Yes, Stu. I've definitely been in that situation before. And like you said, that's what really helped me get to the next level of my game. And they
Mm-hmm.
helped me shape to be a real pro. You know, you have guys that say, yeah, you went to the NFL, but that real pro is the guy that you are talking about. When they say, hey,
Mm-hmm.
man, this guy's going to go out there this series, and you're like, huh? And like it's how you respond. Are
Yeah.
you gonna go in the tank? Are you gonna call your agent say you need a trade? Or are you gonna say forget this and just not show up no more? Are you gonna come to work each and every day and say, hey man, this is my job, it's my job, it's a competition, let's get it. Let's
Yeah.
make the best man win. And when that guy's balling, you still say, hey man, good job, bro. Let's go. Because the better we are as a football team, is the better those two guys are. If
Mm-hmm.
those two guys can work together and take a pressure off each other, that's the best version of the Carolina Panthers that we need. And you was a part of something like that before, Stu. You know,
Yeah.
you was
Me
a
and
part of that
D'Angelo.
twice. Yep, you was a
Yeah.
part of that twice. Then when we got Christian McCaffrey,
Yeah.
you was a
Christian.
part of
Yeah.
that. You
When
was
I
a
saw
part of that.
Christian, when I saw Christian coming here, I was like, oh yeah, he running all the routes. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, he gonna run this play. He gonna run
Yep.
this play,
Yeah. So
and
you was
like,
part of that
cause
twice. You was
because
part of that twice.
you have to be a realist at some point in your
Listen,
life.
Stu, listen, as I think about your career, Stu, too, also, you was the guy they brought in to have a change-up guy on with D'Angelo, and there was a
Mm-hmm.
younger, bigger, faster guy. Then all of
Mm-hmm.
a sudden, you became the guy that was D'Angelo, and they
Right.
brought in the Stu.
Yeah.
So
It's
you
part
seen
of
it,
the
bro.
cycle of
It's
life.
part of the cycle, man. It's part of the cycle, bro. I'll never forget that. So you was part of that, and look how
Mm-hmm.
you handled it. And you was a listen, man, one of the best to do it, especially
Yeah.
when that blue right there,
Oh
when that
yeah.
Carolina blue. Hey,
That
we
Carolina
know,
blue.
yeah,
Hey, that
man.
Carolina
So.
blue is through and through. You feel me? Um, Speaking of Carolina blue, man, look, we got the Saints coming in. We
Yep.
got the Saints this weekend, dog.
I can't
It's
stand them.
it's
You know
I
that.
can't
I can't
you
stand them.
can't stand the Aints, right?
Can't
The
stand them.
Aints, we ain't messing with you. All
Yeah.
right. But y'all coming into the Bank of America Stadium. What's the mindset? All right, let's take ourselves back in time
Okay.
and we the Carolina Panthers. And we have our second division game. We're 5-4, and
Mm.
we are prepping for this game, this opportunity to take a leap forward. What is your mentality like right now in comparison to the weeks before?
Oh man, we can't have a letdown. We just came. We just had to beat a Green Bay team that nobody gave us a chance to win. Nobody said we can go into Lambeau Field and win. So
Mm,
now we got a team that's coming in our home and think they can win. And this is a division opponent. They always told us divisional games are almost worth two games.
two.
Yes. So we got a division opponent that's coming into our house thinking they can win. And everybody think we all high and mighty right now because we just beat a team that everybody says is going to the Super Bowl. So now we have to nip this in the bud. So now we
Yeah,
need to go out there and dominate these boys. We know the Saints record. We don't care. And when it comes to division play, nobody cares about your record. The Saints do not care that they only won one or two games. They're going to come into the Bank of America Stadium and they're going to try to beat us.
yeah,
So how you beat a team while they down, you keep putting them down. You get that
yeah.
sledgehammer and you kill us ant with a sledgehammer, Stu.
You keep pounding,
You
right?
keep pounding, man. You got to keep hitting them. So you got to keep hitting them. So our mindset, if we was in the locker room, Stu, you know, our mindset is, hey, bro, let's keep them down and let's go 2-0 this the division because we
Yeah,
need to stay relevant in this division. We need to win this division, and a part of that is the beating the Saints. They're in our way in the next game, and we're at home, Stu. We're at
oh
home. We're at the
yeah,
crib. We're at
yeah.
the
We at the
crib.
crib.
We play good at the crib. Still the last home game.
Yeah, the
Besides
last home
that,
game was a little fluke.
yeah, it was a little fluke. We play well at the crib. You
Yeah,
know, and Stu, we've been part of a game. Like the Buffalo game before too. And you remember we ran off 7, 8 in a row, and we went to New Orleans and got embarrassed.
Got embarrassed. Good
But
Lord,
listen,
boy.
but 2 weeks later they had to come back to us, and we ended up
And
winning
we
the division that
mollywopped
year.
them.
Yes, sir.
Mollywopped. Mollywopped.
So we remember we've been a part of that. We've been a part of that, man. You have those games in the season. I remember talking to a couple guys around here about it, and I was telling them, man, you have a couple games in the season that just get away from you, and it
Yeah.
just happened. It's the NFL, bro. It's gonna happen, but it's how
It's
you
just all
respond. It's
it's
how
all
you
about how you
respond.
respond. Yep.
And look how we
'Cause-
responded the next week. We went
Yep.
into Lambeau Field and won that game, bro. I don't care how we won. I don't care that Bryce threw for 102 yards. I don't care. He took care of the football. We did what we need to do on defense, and we ran the ball effectively, and we got out of Green Bay with a win. That's the
We
only
stuck to
thing
the
that mattered.
we stuck to the game plan.
Yes,
And if you have a coach that knows his game plan through and through, and he sticks to the game plan, that's how you develop trust with the players, right?
yes,
If you if
yes.
you're if you're a player and you're going through practice and you're going through plays throughout the week and you run the stuff that you actually running in practice and you show up on game day and you can be locked in and the visualizations that you had the night before, the dream that you had the night before, knowing that
Man,
okay, I'm about to run toss and it's gonna look just like this, right?
man, Stu, is you boy, you preaching right now, boy. Listen, I was just telling the guys, Stu, and I told the coaching staff, I was this
Hmm.
playoff week. So, playoff week, things get a little tight. You can't lie.
Yeah, yeah.
Things get a little tight. So I told the guys, I said, if we haven't ran a play in practice, do not call in the game. Let's have these
Mm,
guys comfortable as possible. And I told the
yeah.
guys, I said, players, listen, when we call these plays that we're going through practice on this practice script, I got it right here, Stu.
All right. Yeah, don't show us too much.
And the plays are we're going through on this practice script. We need to perfect it. We need to execute it and visualize yourself making these plays. We know the style of defense this team run. We know what we're going to run on defense. Visualize yourself making these plays. It makes you play faster. It makes you play with most confidence, and it makes you feel like coaches trust you. But if you run plays that we haven't ran through the week, and we
Yeah, talk
start
to me,
calling
coach.
it, it mess up these guys. It's mess up your mental. You be like, man, we ain't ran that since week 2. Why are we
Hmm.
doing it? But if you trust the process and trust the game plan, bro, you would be successful. And that's what the Carolina Panthers have been doing. They didn't go into all shambles and say, oh, man, we need to bench this guy. We need to bench that guy. We need to do this. We need to do that when we lost to the Buffalo Bills. No, they took their butt back to work on Monday. And on Wednesday, they was back on the field practicing, ready to roll. And look
Yeah.
what happened. They didn't change course. They kept going straight. They didn't go left. They didn't go right. They kept going straight. And
Hmm.
good things that happen to people when you just stay on course. And that's what happened.
I love that. Stay on course. It's just like a golf analogy, right? Yes. If your golf swing is on the right path, it's gonna connect with the ball.
Yes.
Okay? And it's gonna go straight. But
Yes.
if you off path, you're gonna go left, you're gonna go right, and you might go up. Okay. But as whatever you're doing, just keep moving forward, right?
Yeah. Stay on course.
Stay on course, man.
Yeah, man.
Quick little rapid fire, and then I'll get you out of here, dog.
Okay.
Um, if you could, let me see. Oh, I got one. If so, like you being a coach now, like
Mhm.
you get all these questions about what is football like, what is the NFL like, right?
Yep. Yep.
If you could, you know, get rid of a myth right now about what it's like to play in the NFL, what would that be?
Oh man. The myth I'll get rid of, Stu. Uh I think the myth of just thinking it's all glamour and all being famous and things like that, that is really no hard work and guys really just making up tons of money, and they don't see the results, or they don't see what we put out there each and every day. They don't see the time that you miss away from your family. They don't see
Hmm.
the times that you missing your daughter dance recital because you're on the road.
Hmm.
They don't see the time that you know had to be there from 7:30 to 6:30 at night. Or they don't see the time when we used to be at training camp for 21 days straight.
Yeah.
And everybody think the glimmer that and all the stuff that they see is, oh man, Jonathan Stewart signed a 4-year deal for $28 million.
Mm-hmm.
Man, he making so much money, but they don't see the time that you really have to put in. That is your job now.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
and I have to tell people that, all these guys, and they always say, "Oh man, coach, you made this and this and that." But that was my job. Like I
Yeah.
couldn't be like, and I tell the kids, like, if I tell you to be here at 7 o'clock, you can't be walking through the door at 7:01 and say, "Man, coach, I'm here."
Mm-hmm.
So they don't realize that. They don't realize that you get fined for things like that.
Oh yeah,
They
you
don't
getting fined.
realize if your sock dropped down, Stu, for more than 3 plays and you're not picking it up, that you're gonna be fined $5,000. They don't
Right.
know that Jerry used to be on Stu and say, Stu, you can't come in at 2:35. We need you at 2:30, and that'll be
Yeah.
$600 per pound.
Yeah.
I'm being honest. Guys don't
Yeah.
know that. So that's the myth. I think, everybody want to say, oh, you made all this tons of money, you made this, you made that, but they don't see the time that we really put in. They just see us play one game on Sunday and they think, and that's it. No, it's a lot of time during the week that you put in. And another
Yeah.
thing would be, Stu, is taxes.
Oh,
Guys don't realize. They look at it and say, "Oh, Jonathan Stewart made 70 million in his career," not knowing that you can chop that in half. Then you
chop
can
that in
chop it.
half.
Then you can chop it again because you have to pay your agent. Then you can chop
Mm-hmm.
it again because you got to live life.
Yeah.
Then you can chop it again because we're gonna take care of our mamas. That's one
Oh
thing we're
yeah.
gonna do, Stu. We're gonna
Yeah. We're
take
gonna
care of
take.
mama.
Oh yeah, mama.
Yes. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I'm just being honest. They don't see
Yeah.
that. So that's one thing I would, Stu. That's what I put
Yeah.
down, man. Yep.
All right. 5 years from now, what Panther headline would you love to see?
Oh man, I would love to see us holding that trophy, Stu. Super
Mm-hmm.
Bowl champs.
Yeah.
All these other franchises, they feel like, it's a lot of franchises that don't have him. But I want to see because I feel like we always had the talent around here, Stu. We just fell a little short.
Yeah.
And like even when I left in
Like how
2013,
like how short you are, huh?
see, Stu, we didn't have to go that now. I got little man
I,
syndrome real
I
bad.
couldn't help.
I
I
knew
couldn't
I
help
knew you couldn't help yourself, and I knew you was gonna do.
it.
I listen, Stu. This conversation was going so well.
It
I couldn't
was.
believe you was letting this go so well. I knew it had to hit me at some point. I knew it. Boy, you ain't nothing, man. I knew you had to get me at some point. You couldn't just
But
hold
look,
yourself off.
man, hey, control yourself. Look,
Yeah,
you
man.
said
But let's go back to
fall
what I
short.
was saying,
You said,
man.
going back to falling short.
I mean, I can't stand you, bro, but I love you at the same time. But no, man, I just want to see that, Stu. I want to see us really holding that trophy, man, and the city back on fire, man.
Yeah.
Even when I left, man, in 2015, and come back to the city when we lost in the playoffs when I was in Minnesota, and I came back, man, just to see how happy you guys was.
Mm,
Just to see, I even came to the Arizona game, man, like for real, because I wanted to support y'all, my boys, and
yeah.
just to see how happy y'all guys was and how the city of Charlotte was on fire.
Yeah.
No matter where you went, man, everybody seemed like they was having a good time. And, everybody seemed like they was just so happy about, what the team was producing and things like that, man. So I want us 5 years from now to have one of those trophies.
Man, that's blessings, dog. I hope we have them trophies too. And I think we on the right path.
Yes, sir.
Uh, Dan Morgan and Dave Canales and the Carolina Panthers, I feel like they are back, man.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go out there and just say it. They back.
We back, Stu.
We winning 10 games. We're going to the playoffs, ladies
Well,
and
yeah, I
gentlemen.
told people, listen.
So,
So on my podcast, Stu, that we say things like, so one week, I said, all right, my one of my co-hosts, he told me go against the Panthers. He's like, let's go against the Panthers and see what happened. They won. So ever since then, I have to go against the Panthers, right? And people be like, oh man, you're not with us. I say, if you watch the show, you will see.
yeah.
I'm trying to really. I want us to
You
win
doing
every
your
game.
part. You
Yes,
doing your
I'm doing my
part.
part. Cause soon as if I pick us, I feel like we might lose. So
Right.
hey, I got to do what I need to do.
Yeah, man. So you picking the Saints this weekend?
It's gonna be tough to do it, but I guess I have to because we gotta win, bro. We gotta win, bro.
I love it, man. You a man of the people.
Yeah,
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Captain Munnerlyn, Chambers, head football coach,
yes,
4 and
sir.
4. Got playoffs this weekend. Wish them luck. Show up to the game, right?
Hey man, we
Show
playing
some
two.
love.
Hey man, we playing 2.5 hours away, Stu. Whew. I
Still,
got
if you live in that area, where y'all playing at? Where y'all playing at?
Pinecrest, man. We gotta go up the road to Pinecrest.
Pinecrest. They got some good golf courses out there.
I knew you was gonna say that.
But look, ladies and gentlemen, if you in that area, please show up for Captain Munnerlyn and his Chambers High School football team as they make their journey to become hopefully champions.
Yes,
I
sir.
think
Yes, sir.
I hope to see that opportunity, man, because that would be a beautiful story for you,
Yes, sir.
and just the Carolinas in general, dog.
Yes, sir, man. I appreciate that, Stu. Thanks for
And
having me, bro.
make sure you hit Charles Johnson in the stomach when you see him. All right, dog.
I
This
appreciate
is
it,
Stu
Stu.
and the crew. Thanks for listening. Tune into the next episode. Likes, share, subscribe, do all those things. We out.
Yes, sir.